Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Next week is either going to be Medify versus the UCAT exam and how they differ, or it's going to be the application for UCAS that is due on Friday. If you're excited for either of those videos, make sure that you subscribe, but also make sure you vote in the poll, which is going to be right there. When I started off doing abstract reasoning papers, I was really bad. I started off at like 400, but now I've ended up at 820. So this video is how I went from 400-ish to 820. First thing to notice is that abstract reasoning isn't actually you trying to memorize anything, okay? There might be like 8 words you have to memorize, but aside from that, no, this is not a knowledge-based thing. This is very much a skill-based thing. So skill-based things require repetition. That's just how they work. You can't get good at a sport just by looking at the sport and doing, I don't know, the physics behind how sport would work. No, you need to actively do the sport. So, over the course of all the sections, I did over 4,000 questions on Medify. I did like 4,196. If you were to divide that by 5, that would mean I've done around 800 questions on abstract reasoning. 800 questions is a lot of questions, but just doing a lot of questions doesn't really help you if you're not going to improve each time. It means you're going to start at 400 like I did, but end up on 400 instead of ending up on 800 and something. So, how do you get from 400 to 800? That's what this video is about. Let's start off with what I would consider to be the most important thing, and that is how to learn from your mistakes. Now, I did this in one very specific way. I know that med applications is a lot of stress, right? There's a lot of things to go through, so you don't necessarily have a lot of time to revise for the UCAT exam, especially if you're watching this video now. Chances are you really don't have a lot of time. So how can we make this whole thing shorter? Instead of looking at all the ones you got right, just look at the ones you got wrong. Those are the ones you need to learn the rules for, not the rules you already know. So go through the questions and make a list of all the rules that you didn't get. I did this for set A and set B. That means that I had 2 different interpretations of each rule, so I just felt I was more likely going to get them right, but you could realistically just do one and, you know, probably be fine. The second thing I did was really to help me identify rules. Identifying rules is a struggle. So how do you identify rules? Well, honestly, a lot of identifying rules just comes from practice, exposure, and just getting better at noticing the rules, which is why doing a lot of questions and then making a list of the ones you got wrong is actually very helpful. From that, there's a step further that you can go. This is now trying to identify the rules a bit better. Maybe you're afraid you're going to forget a type of rule. This is where this is going to help you, right? And it's a very simple acronym. It's called SCANS. SCANS doesn't cover all of the different rules, right? But it does cover a vast majority of them. So what I would do is in that 1 minute you have before AR starts, I would write down SCANS. I would write all the words corresponding to them. And then any additional ones I would write below that. The SCANS stands for shape, color, angle, number, and size. But there are obviously some that aren't on there, like position, orientation, formulaic rules, and conditional rules. So I would literally just write those down underneath it. Now I had all of them. That takes you about 30 seconds. You have 30 more seconds to like rest your eyes. Then you have some useful data that you can use to help you identify the rules. That's what I use my whiteboard for in AR. It's the only thing I use my whiteboard for. It was very helpful. The next thing is all of this stuff that I've said so far goes to crap. That's when you do this. If you're looking at a question, maybe you stumbled into a black hole question. If you don't know what a black hole question is, basically the term Medify uses for questions that UCAT have designed that try to pull you in to spend more time than would be logical. So this is when everything I've said so far has gone to crap. And it's very simple, okay? It's guessing. But there is good guessing and there's bad guessing. Be smart. Do good guessing, okay? Good guessing takes a bit more time than bad guessing. So if you're actually running out of time, you have to do bad guessing, you don't really have much of a choice. But good guessing increases your probability substantially, at least from my perspective. Honestly though, no form of guessing is something you're going to want to do. So you want to really hone all of the things I've said up to now so that you need to guess as little as possible. So good guessing. Some people literally base their entire abstract reasoning section off good guessing entirely. Good guessing involves looking at a frame you need to decide goes into either set A or set B, and then looking at set A and set B and kind of seeing the general patterns that lie within them. So being like, oh, okay, look, this has an octahedral and this has an octahedral, this doesn't have an octahedral, this one has a hexagon but also 2 lines, oh, that might actually make sense. So you don't necessarily find the actual rule, but you're being like, oh, okay, for 5 out of the 6 frames, this kind of vibe would work, but only for 2 out of 6 frames. That vibe would work here. So let's just put it in set A instead of set B. That is the logic behind it. Final thing, realistically, you should be doing this for all of your sections. This is now the last thing you do. You do this whenever you do any form of good guessing. You flag. UCAS is very helpful by giving you a flag option. Flag it. Come back to it. Smart. Different perspective really helps you. Don't overdo it. You don't have as much time as you will in situational judgment at the end of it. But with abstract reasoning, just that extra 30 seconds can actually be seriously beneficial. I know I came back to it and really wished I just had 30 seconds longer, because that was that last second where I found a rule. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe for new videos. Next week is either Medify versus UCAT or my extreme stress that I currently have with my UCAS application, which is due on Friday. And currently I don't really have a backup option. So a lot of stress, a lot to put in for one video. I don't know which one will help you more. I don't know how many people still have the UCAT to do and would really benefit from this UCAT Medify comparison. I know a lot of people have messaged me specifically about UCAT versus Medify, so keep messaging me. If you're excited for either of those videos, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. See you next week. Goodbye.